Let me take you back to a moment that forever shifted the way I see the world. One afternoon, my mentor looked me straight in the eye and said something I'll never forget. "Jim, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better." And I have. To tell you, the weight of those words hit me like a freight train. It wasn't just advice. It was a wake-up call. Because here's the hard truth. Most people drift through life waiting for external changes. They hope the job becomes less demanding, that the economy improves, that people around them finally start recognizing their worth. They spend years wishing, waiting, hoping, as if one day life will magically turn in their favor. But the breakthrough, the real shift, doesn't happen when life becomes easier. It happens when you become stronger. When you sharpen your skills, expand your wisdom, and raise your standards. The secret isn't in sitting out the storm. It's in learning to sail through it. You see, success doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It answers to preparation, to grit, to skill. Success ignores complaints. It listens to competence. It doesn't come to those who merely dream. It comes to those who do. So I ask you, are you using your energy to wish for change? Or are you channeling it into becoming someone who can face any challenge head-on? This message isn't for those who want life handed to them. It's for the builders, the seekers, the fighters, the ones ready to level up even when it's uncomfortable. If that's you, keep listening. Because what's coming next might just be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Here's something that may surprise you. Life isn't meant to be easy. It's not here to pamper you, to serve everything on a silver platter, or to knock gently on your door and whisper, "Here, everything you ever wanted." No. Life isn't your butler, it's your coach. And coaches don't coddle. They push you, challenge you, demand more from you than you thought you could give. I didn't understand that in my younger years. I used to look at the uphill climb and wonder, why does everything feel so hard? But then I got the message. And I hope you hear it loud and clear today. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Let me tell you something about challenges. They're not brick walls meant to stop you. They're mirrors, reflecting exactly who you are in the face of difficulty. Life says, here's a setback. How do you respond? Here's pressure. What's your move? Here's disappointment. Will you crumble or will you grow? Sadly, most people react with complaints. They blame others. They retreat. They throw up their hands and say, "It's not fair." And you know what? They're right. It's not fair. But that's the point. Life wasn't designed to be fair. It was designed to forge you. Fear won't make you strong, but struggle will. Fear won't teach you patience, but hardship will. Fear won't push you to grow, but life will. Now think about this. If you take away the challenge, you take away the lesson. If you eliminate the obstacle, you erase the opportunity. That mountain standing in front of you, it's not punishment. It's proof. Proof that something inside you is ready to rise, to climb, to transform. Don't curse the mountain. Thank it. Because on the other side of that steep climb is a version of you you haven't met yet. Stronger, braver, wiser. And here's a truth that might shake you. If life were always easy, you'd grow bored. You'd become soft. You'd have no stories to tell, no victories to savor, no strength to stand on. You don't build muscle by lifting feathers. You don't forge character by dodging the fire. You don't build a meaningful life by avoiding discomfort. But there's good news, and it's this. Life will always give you the exact challenge you need to become the person you were meant to be. Not more, not less. Exactly what you need. Now let me ask you, will that truth excite you or intimidate you? Your answer will shape your path. Think back. When was the last time you faced something hard and smiled? Have you ever done that? Because that's power. That's the moment you stop being the victim. that's when you become the player. That's when the whole game begins to change. You are in the process of building mastery, real mastery. And here's the thing, what you're facing right now, that challenge isn't blocking the path. It is the path. This is the road that forges strength, not sidesteps it. So here's the mindset shift. Don't ask life for fewer problems. Ask yourself for more wisdom. Don't wish for calm, quiet days. Strive for deeper discipline. And when the pressure builds, don't run from it. Grow the shoulders that can carry more, because something powerful happens when you improve. The weight you carry doesn't disappear, but it starts to feel lighter. Why? Not because the burden changed, but because you did. Let me leave this part with a reminder. You weren't created to be coddled. You weren't built for comfort and shelter. You were made to rise, to stretch, to evolve. So the next time life pushes hard, don't shrink. Back and ask, why me? Stand tall and declare, try me. Because that's when life knows you're ready. Now let's talk about something that quietly sabotages more dreams than failure ever could. Complaining. Yes, out of all the habits that hold people back, this one is both sneaky and costly. And no, I'm not talking about overspending, overeating, or even procrastination, though that one's up there. I'm talking about something more toxic, the habit of complaining. Complaining is the language of lack. It drains you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and eventually financially. And to be clear, we all get frustrated. We all have those days where everything feels like it's going wrong. But here's the critical difference. Successful people may visit frustration, but they never build a home there. There's a big line between sighing in the moment and making excuses your permanent address. Some people, they've made complaining their career, no paycheck, no growth, but they clock in right on time every single day. Let me share the truth I learned the hard way. Every time you complain, you lose twice. You lose in the moment, your peace, your energy, your presence, and you lose the lesson. Because every challenge carries two things, the problem and the wisdom. And when your mouth is full of complaints, your mind is closed. Off to that wisdom. Here's a simple but powerful truth. The person who complains the most learns the least. Why? Because they stay focused on what went wrong instead of asking, what can I take away from this? Life will hand you dirt, guaranteed, but what you do with it is up to you. Will you plant seeds and grow something meaningful? Or will you just lie in it and feel sorry for yourself? You've heard them before, the ones who say, it's always something. Maybe you've even caught yourself saying it. Too hot, too cold, too busy, too bored. They want success but complain when responsibility shows up at the door. That's not a hard life. It's a weak mindset. If you want life to change, you've got to stop blaming the world and start owning your role in it. That's where transformation begins. Now here's the game changer. Every time you feel the urge to complain, pause. Then ask yourself a better question. What is this trying to teach me? What can I improve for next time? What does this moment reveal about my habits, my mindset, my preparation? Complaining never improves your circumstances, but learning does. Learning gives you power. It ensures you don't just survive the next challenge, you conquer it. Let me say this clearly. Winners are learners. Losers are lingerers. Winners study the loss. They take notes. They grow. Losers, they stew. They replay the pain. They post about it. They relive it. Some people spend years complaining about a single bad month. That's not just bad thinking. It's a poverty pattern. Break it tonight. Here's a simple step to start rewiring your mindset. Start keeping a learning journal, not a complaint diary, a journal of growth. Write down what happened, how you responded, what you learned, and what you'll do differently next time. Soon, life won't feel like it's happening to you. It'll feel like it's happening for you. Because it always has been. You just couldn't see it through the fog of your own complaints. We talked about breaking free from the habit of complaining, about replacing grumbles with growth and seeing life not as an enemy but as a teacher. Now, let's continue that momentum. No more complaining. Not about the weather, not about your boss, not about traffic, not even about your own aches and pains. From this moment forward, every complaint is an opportunity in disguise, a lesson, waiting to be discovered. Trade the complaint for insight and just watch. Your mindset will shift, your energy will rise, and your progress will take off like never before. Why? Because success, it's allergic to complainers, but it absolutely adores students of life. So remember, complaining is a poverty habit. Break it, crush it, replace it with the habit of growth. Because the very moment you stop complaining, something beautiful begins. You start growing. And when growth becomes your daily companion, life starts opening doors you didn't even know existed. Now let's dive into something truly magical, one of the greatest gifts you've ever been given. And no, it's not talent, it's not money, it's not luck, it's this, the ability to get better. That's right, you can improve at anything, at any time. You don't need anyone's permission. No one needs to open a door for you. You hold the key, and that's pure magic. You see, the difference between where you are and where you want to be, it's not fate, it's not luck, it's not waiting for the next economic shift or political change. It's skill. And here's the good news. Skill is learnable. You weren't born knowing how to speak, lead, negotiate, or solve complex problems. You learned those things, and if you learned them once, you can refine them, expand them, strengthen them. And whatever you don't yet know, you can chase after it, grow into it, master it. Now, some people say, I'm just not good at that. But that's not a truth. That's a story. And here's the thing, stories can change. You're not good. You're just not practiced. And practice, my friend, leads to progress. Progress builds confidence, and confidence becomes the foundation of success. Here's the bottom line. Skill turns the ordinary into extraordinary. It transforms untapped potential into real results. It took a broke kid from Idaho, someone like me, and put him on stages around the world. Not because I wished for better, but because I worked for it. I didn't hope for success. I trained for it. Let's make it practical. You want to earn more? Master a skill that adds more value. You want to lead better? Learn the art of communication. You want to stop falling for your own excuses? Build discipline as a daily practice. Success isn't a one-time event. It's a compounding effect. It's what happens when someone wakes up and says, I'll read that book. I'll sign up for that course. I'll stay up late. I'll rise early. I'll stretch further. And they keep showing up. Now, don't get me wrong. Talent is great, but talent without skill? That's just wasted potential. Talent is the seed, but skill is what brings it to life. It's not just the naturally gifted who fill concert halls. It's the ones who practiced when no one was watching. So let me say this clearly. Skill is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about your background, your bank account, or your past failures. It only asks, are you willing to show up and do the work? And that leads me to an important question for you. What skill are you developing right now? Not the one you're dreaming about, not the one you plan to start someday, but the one you're actually working on today that will make you more valuable tomorrow. Here's the truth. Money follows value. Value follows skill. And skill follows effort. So start where you are. Start small, but start now. Even if you only improve one key skill each year. Public speaking, sales, leadership, time management. Imagine who you'll be in 5 years. 5 new skills, 5 times more valuable. And when you become 5 times more valuable, life changes. You won't chase opportunities. Opportunities will start chasing you. Let's wrap this one up with a truth you should never forget. Skill is the bridge from wishing to winning, from where you are to where you want to be. And the best part? That bridge is open to anyone, including you, so pick a skill, commit to it, shape it, sharpen it, stack it. We talked about the power of skill, the bridge between wishing and winning. And the best part? Anyone can step onto that bridge if they're willing to put in the work. Now let's lean into another truth. When you get better, everything around you begins to change too. That's the real magic. Success isn't easier for other people. They're just better at something. Have you ever looked at someone who's made it and thought, wow, must be nice. They probably had a head start? If so, I have a message for you tonight. Success isn't some lottery that others happen to win. It's not reserved for a chosen few. Those people you admire, they didn't get lucky. They got skilled. They got focused. They made the choice to grow, to practice, to commit. They made the decision to get better, not bitter. Now don't get me wrong. I know life isn't fair. Sure, some people do start with more. They have better tools, better support. But here's what I've learned. Success isn't about where you start. It's about whether you start. And most people, they never even take the first step. They're too busy comparing, too busy complaining, too busy explaining why it's easier for everyone else. But here's the truth. Everyone has a mountain to climb. The only difference? Some people just have better boots. Let me be real with you. I didn't grow up with much. By the time I was 25, I was broke. And I blamed everything. The government, the company, the economy, even the weather. Then one day, someone said something that changed my life forever. Jim, the problem isn't the world. The problem is you. That was hard to hear, but it was the beginning of my transformation. Because the moment you stop blaming is the moment you start building. Let me tell you what successful people do. They identify the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and they close it. They figure out what's missing, a skill, a relationship, a habit, a resource, and then they get to work. They're not sitting around asking, why is it so easy for her? They're asking, what can I learn from her? That's the difference. Let's make this real. You see someone succeeding in business? Chances are they learned how to sell. They read the books, made the calls, took the rejections. You see someone with influence? They probably trained their voice until their words carried weight. You see someone living with freedom? They likely mastered money, discipline, strategy, delayed gratification. It wasn't easy. It was earned. And let me tell you something else. Success leaves clues. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to follow the tracks. Don't envy the man with the mansion. Study his methods. Don't resent the woman with results. Mirror her routines. Because if you do what they do, eventually you'll have what they have. So here's your challenge tonight. Instead of feeling behind, start catching up. Instead of comparing, start preparing. Instead of scrolling through highlight reels, open a book. Sign up for a course. Join a mastermind. Learn the skill that makes the difference. Because success isn't reserved, it's rewarded. And it rewards the one who shows up, trains up, and levels up. You say, Jim, I'm not there yet. Good. That means there's something to build. And when you build it, you own it. Because there's something powerful about earning your confidence. Not borrowing it, not faking it, but working for it. Here's the bottom line. Nobody has it easier. They just worked harder, longer, smarter at something that made them valuable. And the great news? You can do that too. So starting today, stop saying, I wish I had their life. Start saying, I'm ready to build mine, because success isn't easier for them. Earlier, we talked about how no one has it easier. They've just worked longer, harder, and smarter at something valuable. Now it's your turn to rise. But here's a truth you might not expect. You don't need fewer problems. You need more capacity. Let me say that again because it might sting a little. You don't need life to slow down. You need to get stronger. I know what you're probably thinking. But Jim, you don't understand what I'm dealing with, and maybe I don't. But here's what I do know. Everyone has problems. The rich, the poor, the strong, the weak. Even the guy smiling on Instagram with perfect lighting and vacation photos. He's got problems too. He's just using better filters. Life isn't about avoiding problems. It's about outgrowing them. The goal isn't to live a problem-free life. That doesn't exist. That's fantasy. That's theme park thinking. This is real life. And in real life, problems don't stop showing up. You just get better at handling them. The real key? It's not about making life easier. It's about becoming bigger than what you're facing. Let me share a moment that shifted everything for me. I used to pray, God, please take away my problems. But those problems, they didn't go anywhere. What changed was me. I stopped asking for less pressure. I started training for more resilience. I stopped wishing for calm seas. I learned how to sail through storms. Picture this. Imagine holding a small bucket. Then life starts pouring water into it. Stress, bills, deadlines, relationship tension, unexpected setbacks. You have two options. You can beg the world to stop pouring, or you can get a bigger bucket. Now, which one do you think is more effective? You can't stop the flow of life, but you can grow your capacity to carry it. That's what personal growth is all about. That's what builds power from the inside out. So let me ask you something. Honestly, are you expanding your capacity or just hoping life will slow down? Because here's what happens when you grow. The same problem that used to overwhelm you now becomes manageable. The same pressure that once cracked you now builds you. The same crisis that used to knock you flat now meets a stronger, wiser version of you. Why? Because you got bigger. So how do we grow capacity? Let's break it down. First, mental discipline. Your mind is like a muscle, and it needs training. Read daily, reflect often, journal your thoughts, think deeply, learn relentlessly. Feed your mind, or the world will feed it for you. Second, emotional maturity. Not everything deserves your reaction. Learn to pause, breathe, choose your response rather than offering it on impulse. Strength is not in shouting louder, it's in staying composed under fire. Third, physical endurance. Don't neglect your body. Energy drives clarity. Strength fuels momentum. Take care of your vessel. This journey isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. If you run out of fuel, you'll never reach the finish line. Fourth, spiritual grounding. Know who you are. Know what you believe. Have non-negotiable values that guide you, even when things get hot, messy, or chaotic. When your roots are deep, the storm can't shake you. When you grow in all four areas, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, you increase the size of your bucket. Life may still pour in the same chaos, but now you don't drown. You rise. You thrive. Let me share a secret with you. The higher you want to go, the more pressure you must be able to handle. The people at the top, they're not there because life was easier. They're there because they built the muscle to carry what others couldn't. That's leadership. That's success. That's character. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't say, "This is too much." Say, "This is showing me where I need to grow." Because the world doesn't need to get smaller. You need to grow bigger. And when you do, problems stop looking like mountains and start looking like stepping stones. Let me end this part with a shift in perspective. Don't ask for lighter burdens. Ask for broader shoulders. Because when you build your capacity, life doesn't have to change. You do. And when you change, you can carry more. You can lead more. You can be more. That's the power. That's the mindset. That's the path forward. Mindset is a muscle. And like any muscle, it needs daily reps. Now, let's dig deeper into the foundation. of that growth. Your mindset. Your mindset is not a mystery. It's not magic. It's a muscle. And like every other muscle in your body, if you don't train it, you lose it. If you don't stretch it, feed it, and challenge it daily, it becomes lazy, it gets weak, it softens. And before you know it, your thoughts start working against you instead of for you. The real difference between someone who consistently wins and someone who constantly worries? It's not about luck. It's not about background. It's conditioning. You train your mindset just like you train your body through reps. Mental reps, discipline reps, intentional thought reps. You don't wake up one day with a strong mindset. You build it, one repetition at a time. People often say to me, "Jim, I just want to feel more confident." And I tell them, confidence is not a feeling. It's a result, the byproduct of repetition. Confidence shows up after you've shown up again and again, even on the days you didn't feel like it. It comes from keeping your promises, from following through, from doing the work when no one's watching. That's where mindset strength is born. Here's something to remember. Negativity is weight. Discipline is a rep. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you replace "I can't" with "let's see how I can," every time you speak possibility into your day instead of doubt. And those reps, they stack, they build, they compound. And suddenly, almost without realizing it, you begin to think differently. You react with more calm. You live with more purpose. Why? Because you've been training your mind. Now let me be honest. Most people don't get this. They go to the gym once and expect to look like an athlete. They read one book and wonder why their life hasn't transformed. They repeat one affirmation and expect fear to disappear. But this isn't magic. It's muscle, and muscle demands consistency. If you don't intentionally train your mind every single day, guess what? The world will train it for you. And the world is not a kind coach. It will feed your mind with fear, excuses, distractions, and doubt. That's why you must train your mindset like your future depends on it, because it does. Let's get practical. Want to build mental strength? Here's your mindset gym. 1. Books. These are the weights for your thoughts. Fill your mind with strong, challenging, truth-filled ideas. 2. Journaling. Reflection is mental stretching. Process your thoughts, your progress, your patterns. 3. Affirmations. Speak truth until it becomes your reflex. Your voice is powerful. Use it to reprogram your perspective. 4. Challenges. Don't run from resistance. Welcome it. Growth hides behind struggle. 5. People. Surround yourself with strong minds. Because weak minds, they're contagious. Now let me ask you, how much time do you spend preparing your mind before your day even begins? You brush your teeth daily? Great. You fix your hair every morning? Fantastic. But do you condition your thinking with the same commitment? Because your mindset is the filter for your entire life. If it's cluttered, everything feels harder. If it's sharp and focused, the path becomes clearer, the steps more confident. Here's a tip that changed my mornings forever. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Most people wake up and the first thing they do, they grab their phone. They scroll. They check news, messages, social media, and in doing so, they let the world condition their mindset before they do. Don't do that. Don't let headlines, inboxes, or comment sections hijack your head. You set the tone. Start your day with strength, gratitude, goals, growth. That's a mindset rep. That's the fuel you need. And here's the big idea. Your life will never grow bigger than your mindset, your income, your relationships, your leadership, your peace. They all rise or fall based on how well you think. Let me close this out with a truth you should tattoo on your habits. You don't get the mindset of a champion by accident. You build it, rep by rep, choice by choice, thought by thought. And one day you'll look up and realize you're not afraid anymore. You're not stuck anymore. You're not second-guessing yourself every time a storm hits. Why? Because you did the work. You trained the muscle. You showed up for yourself. We talked about building a mindset that doesn't just survive the pressure, but carries your goals and your future. Now let's take that mindset into the fire, into the struggle that forges who you're meant to become. Let me say something that might flip your perspective completely. Be thankful for the struggle. Now, I know that's not easy to hear. It's not popular. It's definitely not what you'll see on your social feed between vacation photos and highlight reels, but it's true. And truth doesn't always feel good at first, but it always works in the end. You see, the struggle isn't in the way. It is the way. It's not the enemy. It's the engine, the fuel, the thing that shapes you when everything else tries to shake you. And if you can learn to be grateful for it, to embrace it, to extract every ounce of growth from it, you'll wake up one day and realize the struggle didn't break you. It built you. Let me tell you something I've learned firsthand. Easy seasons don't build anything worth keeping. It's the hard seasons that carve out character. It's the tough days that form true toughness. It's the weight of challenge that sculpts champions. Show me someone strong, and I'll show you someone who didn't escape the fire. They walked through it. They didn't run from pain. They grew through pain. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Jim, I don't want the pain. Of course you don't. No one does. But here's the paradox. Pain is the price of purpose. No pressure, no diamond, no resistance, no strength, no fire, no refining. You want the rewards? Then you've got to face the resistance. Let me tell you how most people handle struggle. They run from it. They curse it. They try to pray it away. But the successful, they thank it. They study it. They leverage it. They say, this isn't here to destroy me. It's here to develop me. Ever gone to the gym and felt that muscle ache after a tough session? That soreness? That's not a problem. It's progress. It's your body saying, hey, we're building something here. Life works the same way. That frustration, that failure, that delay, it hurts, yes. But it's also feedback. It's growth in real time, if you're willing to use it. So here's a better question to ask the next time life hits hard. Not, why is this happening to me? But what is this preparing me for? Because life never wastes a struggle. There's always something inside it, a lesson, a breakthrough, a new strength. But you have to be willing to dig, because growth doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you're too distracted by discomfort, you'll miss the message. Now hear this. Gratitude in the middle of struggle is the beginning of transformation. When you can look at the storm and say, thank you, you're teaching me. When you can stand in the valley and declare, I'm learning something here I couldn't learn on the mountaintop. That's when you stop just surviving and start becoming unstoppable. Because anyone can be grateful when life is easy. But real strength? It's forged when it's not. Let me give you a simple but powerful equation. Struggle, reflection. Strength. Struggle, plus bitterness. Stagnation. So the struggle itself is neutral. It's your response that decides your result. And your response, that's your power. Let me leave you with this. Be grateful for the struggle. It means you're still in the game. It means you're alive. It means you haven't given up. It means you're becoming the kind of person who can carry the dream you claim to want. So don't pray it away. Grow through it. Don't fight it. Receive it. Because on the other side of struggle is the version of you who wins. And that's who you were always meant to become. Now let me give you a principle so simple, so powerful, that if you really understand it, it will change the way you approach everything in your life. Here it is. The better you get, the better life gets. Not the economy. Not the government. Not the weather. You. When you get better, everything else improves. You say, Jim, I want a better job. Then get better skills. I want better relationships. Then build better communication. Sharpen your patience. Grow your empathy. I want more money. Then offer more value. You don't chase money. You become more valuable. And money follows value. Most people have this backward. They say, when life gets better, then I'll do better. When my boss is more fair, I'll work harder. When others treat me right, I'll show up differently. But that's not how it works. You don't wait on the world. The world is waiting on you. Your results? They reflect you. Not society, not luck, not the weather. Let me ask you something. Have you ever cleaned a dirty windshield and noticed how the whole world suddenly looked brighter? Did the world change? No. You just improved the lens. And that's what happens when you get better. Life doesn't suddenly become easier. It becomes clearer. You start seeing opportunities. You start making sharper choices. You start walking in wisdom. And that changes everything. We talked about how when you improve, life starts shifting with you. Not because the world changes, but because your perspective, choices, and capabilities change. And now here comes the most important shift of all. Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract. You don't beg for opportunity. You become the person who naturally belongs in the room, and the doors begin to open. You don't demand respect. You live with such integrity, consistency, and presence that people can't help but respect you. You don't wish for abundance. You develop the disciplines that produce it. That, right there, is the shift. It's not about wishing harder. It's about becoming better. So here's the question I want you to sit with tonight. How can I get better? Not, how can my partner improve? Not, how can my boss treat me better? Not, when will my circumstances change? The real question is, how can I grow? Because the better you get, the more capable you become, the more resilient you become, the more attractive you become. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, professionally. And when you rise, everything around you begins to rise with you. Your relationships, your opportunities, your impact, your peace of mind. But let me be clear. This isn't magic. This is process. You don't become someone new overnight. You evolve daily, bit by bit, choice by choice, habit by habit, thought by thought. And while it might feel slow at first, the compound effect is extraordinary. One small upgrade in your self-discipline shifts your morning routine. That shifts your productivity. That shifts your confidence. That shifts your direction. And over time, it shifts your destiny. So if you feel stuck right now, if your life feels like a loop on repeat, if you're waiting on a breakthrough, don't just look around and ask what needs to change. Ask yourself, what needs to grow within me? Because here's a principle that changed my life. You can't have more until you become more. That's not a punishment. That's principle. And it's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. Let me close this section with a bold challenge. Make this your new personal motto. I'm going to get better no matter what. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when people are cheering. But when no one is watching. When it's uncomfortable. When it's slow. You show up. You read. You reflect. You improve. You sharpen your thinking. You deepen your values. You strengthen your resolve. And here's what happens. One day, you look up and life feels easier. Not because life changed, but because you did. That's the real game. That's the hidden formula. That's the secret most people miss. Now, here comes one of the most pivotal turning points in your journey. Raise your standards. Yes, raise them. Because your standards don't define your ceiling. They define your floor. You will never go below your standards, but you'll also never rise above your willingness to meet them. Listen closely. Everyone wants more. More success. More love. More health. More income. More peace. But very few are willing to say, this is the new minimum I will accept for myself. That's the real difference. That's the line between dreaming and doing. between wishing and working, between desire and discipline. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. But wanting without commitment is just fantasy. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. Tolerate chaos? You'll live in it. Tolerate excuses? You'll repeat them. Tolerate mediocrity? You'll stay stuck in it. But the moment you say, enough, this isn't who I am anymore, that's when transformation begins. Let me give you a simple example. Someone says, I want to get in shape, but they eat the same, sleep the same, skip workouts. That's not a standard. That's a wish. You want to be fit? Make it a non-negotiable. I don't skip my health, period. You want to grow your business? Raise your standard. I don't end the day without doing something that moves me forward. You want better relationships? Raise the standard. I don't speak to people I love with disrespect. Don't just write goals, write personal rules, and live by them. And here's the second half of the equation, the part most people miss. Raise your standards, and then match them with action. Because standards without action, that's just ego. That's just pretty words on a vision board, hoping the universe notices. But you don't manifest what you write. You manifest what you do. You have to rise to meet. The universe doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to work. So when you say you're committed to a new level, your daily actions better show it. You say you're a professional? Then show up like one. Even on the days when no one's applauding. You say you value your time? Protect it like it's priceless. You say you want to grow? Then stretch, sweat, sacrifice. That's the price of alignment. That's how you start living in line with what you say you believe. And here's what happens when you do. When you begin holding yourself to higher standards, even when no one's watching, you move differently. You speak with more clarity. You think with more purpose. You carry yourself with more conviction. And people notice. Opportunities begin to appear. Life starts responding to the seriousness of your commitment, not because you got lucky, but because you got consistent. So let me ask you right now, what are you tolerating that you know you shouldn't? Where have your standards quietly slipped? What excuses are you still whispering to yourself at night? Call them out. Write them down. And make a decision that that version of you, the one who settles, is no longer running the show. Then, don't just raise the standard, rise to it. Because that uncomfortable space, the gap between what you expect and what you're actually doing, that's where transformation lives. Here's a truth most people avoid. Don't lower your standards to fit your comfort. Raise your behavior to match your vision. Live by a higher code. One that doesn't fold under pressure. One that doesn't vanish when things get hard. Raise it. Match it. Live it. And the world, it will rise to meet you, because when your standards rise, so does your life. Now let's talk about excellence. What does it really look like? It's not loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't need to scream for attention. You know what true excellence looks like? It looks effortless. But don't be fooled. It's not effortless because it's easy. It looks easy because the person doing it has done the reps. They've trained to the point where mastery became their norm. Think about it. You ever watch a world-class athlete move with grace? A concert pianist make impossible melodies look smooth? A speaker step on stage and command the room with a whisper? That's not talent. That's refinement. That's not luck. That's training. You don't get to that level by winging it. You get there by practicing until excellence becomes instinct. Skill at the highest level appears as ease, but don't mistake the outcome for the effort. What you're seeing is mastery. And mastery doesn't come from dabbling. It comes from repetition, from obsession, from discipline. They've done it so many times the motions are automatic. The decisions are lightning fast. The presence is undeniable. Not because it's easy, but because they earned the right to make it look that way. Now here's your challenge. Become so good that your excellence speaks without words. So good that people don't just hear you, they feel your weight. So good that you no longer need to convince anyone, your results do the talking. So good that when you do the hard thing, people say, "How is that even possible?" And you just smile, because you trained for this. And if you're sitting there thinking, "But Jim, I'm not there yet," that's okay. No one starts there. But you begin. You do the reps. You read. You show up when it's boring. You stick with it when no one's clapping. And eventually, the thing that once made you hesitate, you walk into it like it's home. Not because it stopped being hard, but because you got strong. Now let me give you a warning. Most people quit too soon. They try something once, maybe twice, and then say, "Hey, it's just not for me," but the truth? It is for you. You just haven't done the work long enough for it to feel familiar. The struggle is still visible because you haven't put in enough reps to make it invisible. And that's okay. That's normal. But don't stop because it's hard. Keep going until you make it look easy. Excellence isn't the absence of difficulty. It's the mastery of it. You've got to learn to dance with difficulty, to wrestle with repetition, to fall in love with boring consistency, because that's the road to effortless greatness. Let me leave you with this. Don't aim to get by. Don't aim to be average. Don't aim to be pretty good. Become exceptional. Become undeniable. Become so good they can't forget you. They can't ignore you. They can't replace you. And when they ask, "How do you make it look so easy?" just smile, because you'll know the truth. It wasn't easy. It was earned. So keep showing up. Keep doing the reps. Get better. Now let's bring it home with the most powerful truth of all. Life gets better when you get better. Let me leave you with this thought, the one idea that ties everything together. The real magic of life doesn't come from what you get. It comes from who you become in the process. You want the secret? You want the strategy? You want the formula that turns struggle into strength, confusion into clarity, and waiting into winning? Here it is. Simple, honest, and powerful. Get better. Keep getting better, and life will get sweeter. But here's the problem. Too many people are waiting for their job to get better, waiting for the government to fix things, waiting for their spouse, their boss, their circumstances to change. But you know what I've learned? And I hope this sinks in deeply tonight. When you get better, everything around you starts to shift. Not overnight, not magically, but surely. You begin to notice the fog lifting. The days feel clearer. The path feels straighter. The burdens, they don't disappear, but they feel lighter. And it's not because the world became easier. It's because you became stronger. So what's the next move? Never stop becoming. Get better at how you think. Get better at how you speak. Get better at how you serve, how you lead, how you show up, on time, prepared, energized, and ready to deliver excellence. Because here's the truth that separates the wishers from the winners. The future doesn't belong to the talented. It belongs to the trained. The people who decide, "I will keep improving no matter what." You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need the whole plan. You just need the courage to take the next step, the discipline to stay consistent, and the wisdom to believe, if I keep planting, if I keep watering, if I keep showing up and growing, the harvest will come. So tonight, make a decision that could change everything. Declare it to yourself. I'm going to get better, and then I'm going to keep getting better. And here's what will happen, because it always does. You get stronger. Life gets lighter. You grow wiser. Opportunities appear. You become more focused. Distractions fall away. And then one day you'll pause for a moment, look around and realize all the effort, all the struggle, all the boring consistency, it turned into confidence. It turned into freedom. It turned into a life that doesn't need to be explained. It simply feels right. Let me end with a final truth. One line. Write it down. Put it on your wall. Live by it every single day. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Then become better. And keep becoming better. Because the more you grow, the sweeter life becomes. That's the work. That's the reward. And more than anything else, you are absolutely worth it. So here we are, not at the end, but at the beginning of who you're becoming. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about getting stronger. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about choosing growth, even when no one's watching. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving forward. One step, one habit, one decision at a time, because the more you improve, the better life becomes. That's the path. That's the power. And it starts with a choice. Choose to get better, starting today.